Hey everyone, Donny here, Innovation Fika, Wednesday afternoon, 2:30 p.m. Every Wednesday afternoon, I go live with my Innovation Fika. This is episode 64. So I've been doing 64 episodes. They are all recorded. You can find them on YouTube. All of my written content, since I publish almost daily on LinkedIn about innovation and entrepreneurship and startups and so forth, is on Medium. So you can go to Medium and you can find 434 posts, I think there's today. We are live on YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitch, Twitter, and Univid. So follow me on any channel you want. With that, as I said, I always go live with a person, some cool tech, some cool ideas. And today I have the great pleasure and honor to welcome back to KTH as well.
Yes.
Mr. Sam Jahanfar.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
With Rule Communication.
Yes.
You mean you're the founder?
Yes.
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 With that, and as today we'll be talking about email marketing and the ins and outs of that. But as you know, I always start by asking my guests, who are you and what do you do? So Sam, who are you and what does Rule do?
Yes, great question. My name is Sam, as I said, and I founded a company called Rule Communication, which is a software as a service company. So we have our platform online, which our customers are using as a platform for their digital communication. So they can manage all the customer base, all the communication, and different channels and so on. And we're mainly focused on email is the biggest channel, so to say.
Yeah, and for everybody watching, they can go to rule.se or rule.io.
Both works.
Yeah.
SE is for the Swedish customers, IO for the international customers.
Yeah, so go to IO, since yes. International audience. It's a huge international audience here. And as always, we are live online, so make sure to always follow this online live, because then you can post questions, you can ask questions to the guests, and we can have an interactive dialogue. So post your questions in the chat in whichever channel you are on. I will pick them up here in the studio. Today, actually, in the studio at KTH Innovation. Usually I'm in the big arena open space, but there's a huge event going on downstairs. So we thought it would be nicer to just, for the quietness sake and for your sake as well, just stand up here. So we're actually in the KTH Innovation studio in Stockholm here today. So email marketing, Sam. And I'm going to be a bit provocative here and say that sometimes that has kind of has a negative ring to it, because then people start thinking about the spam messages and everything. But it's kind of an effective tool, right? And it doesn't have to be bad.
No, both yes and no. It's an effective tool and it doesn't have to be bad. So it all depends on how you utilize the channel. I mean, it's very good to talk to people, but it can also be ineffective and bad if you talk to them in the wrong way. And I think that what's funny is that email evolved before the internet, and it's still here. And every year, some say that email is dead. And they say, my 15-year-old kid, he doesn't use email at all.
I've heard that one.
Yeah,
I've heard it, yeah.
But the thing is that 15-year-old kid actually do use email. And most of them turn into 20, 25, 30, and they start to use email and even more. So, and actually to evolve even more in this, email has gotten this huge uptake this last couple of months or a year, because now with all the third-party cookies is removed on the World Wide Web, so you can't really track users. Then you need to have the data somewhere, and then you can use the email channel to communicate with your audience.
So you're saying that with the GDPR and with the whole cookie compliance thing and everything that's going on online, email is actually growing again as a communication tool.
Yes.
That's good news.
Yes. I almost said for me, but it's good news for everybody that use email marketing.
Okay. So and when we're talking about email marketing, how do you get started? Because I mean, here at KTH Innovation, we work with like super early stage, not even they're pre-startups. And most of them are in the stage of how are we going to aggregate our first 100,000, users or customers, or not even customers, but people who potentially could be everything from, early stage ambassadors. So how do you get started with email marketing? I mean, how do you actually start?
The best thing with email marketing is that you just start.
You
don't need to have a grand plan. You don't need basically have anything at all. In the beginning, you want to start to collect email addresses. So Because say that you are a startup, you haven't launched yet, so you can say, okay, we don't even have a product yet, but you can start to build a hype. You can start to collect email addresses from all the visitors on your site. So be early in that and have this kind of like, be the first one to know, so you can build suspense. And the thing is, like, you can, of course, when you go live in all channels. But I mean, Facebook is limited to a certain amount of attention. So if you have started to build a suspense, so even before you go live, the first day 0, you already have this followers with you from the email channel that you can start to use from day -200 or day -5 and so on.
And how do you know? Because I have one of the projects that I run on the side, a non-profit foundation. We have an email database, a CRM system with a database with like 700 names or something. And then I send out through the system, and I should probably be tracking then how many opens and what they click on. And I mean, how much should I actually spend time on looking at what did they click on and what did they open and how many opened it and click rates? And I mean,
I think it actually, this is a bit boring answer, but the true answer, it depends.
Yeah.
Because we can get customers that like, we only got 50% open rate. This is so bad. What did we do wrong? And then we have other customers that get, yes, we got 7% open rate. Pop the champagne. It's so nice. It's a new record. So I think everybody should set their own baselines. Look at, if you send a couple of emails out and you see, we are around 25, 30%. That's then you set your baseline over there, and then based on that you can see in every campaign you do, did I go below or did I get over? And you want to check what you did when it got over. So then it's good to use it as a relative measurement to see where you're doing great and what you could improve upon.
Yeah, and another thing I've heard a lot through the years when you speak to people, and like if I say to somebody that, well, you need to start working your database, send out an email to them, like a monthly email or whatever, and build something. And then I usually get back, not usually, but sometimes I get back, yeah, but I don't have any news. I don't have anything to write.
Exactly.
So people say, but we can't send out anything if we don't have any news.
No, but then you have this thing called Google. And what you do is that
like a site, or
it's a search engine. So you just go to Google, you start with typing in your own company name, and then there's stuff about my company wait, this could be interesting for people. And if that's not interesting enough, you can always Google your genre of business.
Yeah.
What is going on in my neck of the woods? This trend about that. Maybe this could be interesting for my customers as well. So there's always information. Everybody has something to write about. It's and you cannot sometimes say, but we are in a boring niche. Nobody really cares. But you bet people care. Just see what they say about your company right now, and then from there you can spin it to whatever you would like to talk about.
Well, no matter how boring their words niche it might be, if they have customers in that niche, the customers should be interested in kind of what's going on in that niche, right?
Of course.
Or the users or members or whatever it was. So that's a really, really good tip, because I can get, when people say I cannot send out anything into my email database because I don't have anything to write about, like I have to make something up. But there's always, there's an evolving world. There's always things going on, and people, if nothing else, if they are interested in your niche or your vertical, they will appreciate you aggregating some news and content about that.
Yeah.
And you can be you don't have to be newsworthy about yourself. It can be about the vertical itself.
Exactly.
The
ecosystem, whatever. Don't be afraid to talk about what the competitors is doing. You can talk about everything that makes sense to your niche.
Yeah.
Basically.
Okay. Well, and how do is there any sort of things to think about when you're reaching out to people? Should you or should you not add the first name thing? Hi, Sam.
Yeah.
It's time for this month's newsletter. Is it?
It all depends. What you shouldn't do is use like the middle name of your customer base, which happens sometimes. So like for me, it's hi Ruben. Then I know personalization gone wrong.
Yeah.
So of course, it's always better to address the person. I think that's the way I talk. But it also depends in what platform you are on. Are you this personal person, or are you the more like, oh, this is the company talking? So you have to also find your tone of voice, I think. And it's like, and then again, find your tone of voice. Use the measurement. Oh, when we said hi, Donny, we got an open rate, and we got more interactions in this email than we just said, oh, this is Mr. Company here. Yeah. We just want to tell you something.
Yeah, that's all very good information. Actually, the good questions coming in here now. Let's go for this first question from LinkedIn here. In general, what service do you suggest for a pre-startup? I've tried one, but in general, all emails end up in the spam folder. And that's, we can actually answer that question. Let's talk about the whole sort of ending up in a spam folder kind of thing.
Because I might be a bit biased.
You might
recommend it.
You might be when it comes to recommending services, but but
we talk. Let's start with the spam folder. So that's the thing. You have this great email. You have tons of stuff you want to write. You have tons of recipients. You send it out, and you say, yeah, let's go, and then bam, straight to the spam folder. And that actually is pretty common if you don't do some minor adjustments correct. Because we all know that, you talked about, we get a lot of information that's spam, but we also get this kind of phishing emails and all like that say, oh, hey, just send me some couple of money, I will send you gold. And nobody falls for that, but some people do. But in order to prevent that happening, there are some measures around how with email authentication, which basically is 3 steps. So step 1 is to use a service provider that has their service in place. They are not like blacklisted on the internet. Number 2, and this is, I think, is the most important part, is that if you, for example, uses our service, we are a Donny company, we use Rule for sending an email, and then our service send out emails that, hey, Donny here. And like, wait a minute, that's Donny, your Rule. This must be something fishy going on. Let's throw this to spam. So then it's super important that you have the authentication in place. So your company page says, oh, guys, Rule, internet, Rule is going to send some emails in our name. That's okay. And they say, if somebody else does it, it's not okay. So then your server tells everybody that, guys, it's totally fine. This company sends this email. It's 100% legit. Then you will end up more probably in the inbox. Yeah. And then the third step right now, which is a bigger thing, actually, or all 3 is important, but that's become more important. This is the third step. It's the interaction, the engagement you get from subscriber base. So let's, for example, we take Gmail, for example. It's a huge email provider, and we send the campaigns. Let's say one of my customers has 100,000 subscribers. So we send out the campaign, and all of a sudden, the people, when they receive this email, they start to click the spam button in email. So they say, oh, this is spam. I don't want it. Spam. Okay. And then Gmail's like, guys, so many people click on spam here. Let's do all our Gmail users a service. We put them all in spam. So that could happen. And then what you want to happen is that you send your email, and people are like, oh, showing the pictures, the clicking links, the interaction with your email. And then Google goes the opposite and say, oh, wait, this is an email that gets a lot of engagement. Let's make sure that it hits the inbox for all this audience. So you want to have the engagement and the interaction with your customers.
This is super interesting, because it is the sort of how we go about things. And I just want to touch on a couple of things you said there. I can start with the last one, because me, of course, as a recipient of emails, I sort of click, oh, this is spam, this is spam, this is spam. I'm teaching my email client that, wherever, if this comes again, just throw it away. But what I'm actually also doing that, you're saying that I'm actually teaching the email client for everybody else that it's a spam. So if enough of us receiving this email clicks on the spam button, then Google might, for other people who haven't clicked the spam button, throw it right into spam.
Yes.
It's really interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
No, but
that's really good to know. That means that, again, building your email lists like organically, slowly but surely, and making sure that the people that you are interacting with actually interact with you and want your information is a better way to go than buying a list of 10,000 names.
Yes.
Which you can't do anymore.
No.
And you definitely should not do that. You can't, I mean, that's like old day.
Yeah, that's how the whole spam thing started. People bought lists. And then 2018 with GDPR, I think that's a non-problem for actually. We are on the European market, so there's.
How does it work? Yeah, let's come back to the opt-in, opt-out thing in just a minute. But I wanted to latch on the second part of your 1, 2, 3 thing was the authentication part, which I thought was super interesting as well, because what you said was, if I'm using a service that hasn't got everything in place, then the receiving part will see an email sent from them, but from me, and they'll think it might be something fishy going on.
Exactly.
Whatever service you use, then make sure that they are good.
You have all that set up, and it's pretty. You do it in your domain name settings, which gets a lot of people just running the other way, but it's pretty straightforward once you just do it. So I mean, and then there are tons of people that can help you with that. So.
Okay, cool.
But it's super important.
Really good. Thank you. Coming back to the opt-in, opt-out thing, then, give me a best practice way of how do I sign up people to an email list to make sure that I am completely overboard with everything done as it should be, with GDPR compliance and all the third-party cookie regulations things going on. How should we do it?
First of all, I'm no lawyer here, so this is just my personal opinion. But it's actually it's not hard at all. We always enforce our customers to use double opt-in. And what is that? That is, you go to a website and they say, hey, sign up for a newsletter. And I say, yeah, that might be interesting. Then I fill in my email address. What happens then is that they send an email to my inbox and say, hey, Sam, did you sign up for this? Click here to activate your subscription, because I can also go there and fill in your address. And then you're like, oh, I haven't opt-in for this, and they can throw it away. But if you don't have the double opt-in, you're not sure that this is the people that actually sign it.
That's the email verification link that you always get when you sign up for things.
Yes.
Right? Okay.
And there it's also like legally, then you can say that you got consent. You can say, okay, at this day, this person clicked, I want this email. Therefore, we know they have consent, and then we are GDPR compliant in terms of that part of the GDPR. So I think double opt-in is always good. Another thing, we talked about this interaction. If you get a lot of subscribers that don't opt in, you're not sure that it was them that signed up, then you can end up with a lot of junk in your list that not really interacting with your email, and then adds to the spam factor as we discussed before. So double opt-in is super good. And then you can see some people have, if you buy stuff online, in the checkout, they have like, okay, select this box. Oh, I also want to receive newsletters.
Yeah.
Make sure that that is not pre-filled. The customer needs to actively fill it themselves, because then that will also work as that they filled it in. So
okay, well, that's some really good ground rules, and it's better to take it one more step and make sure that the people you have actually are people who want to receive a communication. Yes. Because if nothing else, they will also be the ones that are more what's it called? Probably the ones that will interact more as well.
Yes.
Because you only do yourself a it's not, you're not doing yourself any favors if you're forcing people to receive emails.
And it's all exactly, and also the thing, we have about 1,000 customers, and none of them has as a business goal to grow the biggest lists.
No,
that's not, nobody has that, because everybody we want to use this channel. We want to communicate, of course, to as much people as we can. But it's important that we communicate with people that are actually interested in what we are having to say.
So it's quality over quantity.
All the time.
All the time.
All the time.
So you want to grow the best list, not the biggest list.
Exactly.
That's really, really, really good tip. Talking. Okay. Here's a good one from Ida. We send a newsletter to about 60 recipients twice a year. I know we should be doing it more often. We have a very different recipient base, everything from family and friends to potential customers. How do we create value for everyone? Oh, that's
that's a big one.
Trying to get everybody in the same.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Okay, for 60 persons, it's you could do the same as you do if you're for 60,000 people. But what's important is that it's two things. You want to be personalized this day, so you want to know if this is a customer with family or not, because they have different needs and interests. So use a platform where you can store this kind of information. I mean, if you just have the email address, that's super good. That's the start. So that, and also that's the thing. Start to always collect the email address. That's the hardest part. Based on that, you can then either, if in this case you know a lot about your customers, you have all the CRM data available, perfect. Then you can use that to segment, and then you can start to use a service like for us, for instance, in Rule, that we can segment, okay, this element, I just want to show this for this typical family persons. Or we can use it as a switch to say, if this is a single household, show this, or if it's a family household, show this. And all of this adds to the personalization, which give you the interaction.
Now we're talking a higher level of email writing here, so because you're saying that in any competent email sending system, you can add different elements to different target groups.
Exactly.
So that as your group grows, you could start differentiating the messaging within the email. And you don't have to write one email for friends and family and then write a whole different one for.
No, you have to. You can do that as well, of course. But what we're working a lot with at Rule is that we're trying to help our customer being what we call hyper personalized. So instead of creating this one super email from start to beginning with 10,000 ideas and stuff that might or might not be relevant, we start to think more in terms of like, okay, based on our whole customer base, we have 10 things we want to say, and then you start to segment so this message that person wants to have, and this message someone else. And then when you use our platform to send the communication, we only pick out the parts for that recipient that is interested to them.
Smart.
And that's also something that makes you from the spammy thing to be the super relevant newsletter that everybody wants to read.
That's like, again, leveling up on email marketing. It's not just writing a long email and sending it to everyone. We're talking quality over quantity. We're talking about ultra personalization. We're talking about understanding who you're sending to, what kind of stuff they want to read, and how they want to be addressed as well.
Exactly.
I think, see, I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Now I have to do it as well. That's a different thing. Getting to the end of the show here.
Okay.
I mean, the time flies. It's a half an hour coffee break only. We always end with the guest giving us the top 3 tips. I've asked Sam to give us his top 3 tips for working with email marketing. And here is Sam's top 3 tips for working with email marketing for newbies and for old bees as well.
Exactly.
Number 1, make it easy to sign up, something we keep on forgetting.
Yes. So make it super simple to people. And then also a good thing is like, you don't want to make it too easy. And what do I mean by that? I mean that sometimes you surf on the internet, you end up on some interesting company or whatever, and they say, oh, what is this? And then the first things happen, bam, sign up for a newsletter. You're like, sign up for what? Newsletter about what? I have no clue what this is. So give the visitors a chance to interact with your brand and see what you're doing. And after that, show them, oh, by the way, you also want to receive some industry news or something like that, and then make it easy for them to sign up.
I've never done that in any of my sites. Of course not. But I completely agree with it. And I know for a fact when I've gone into one of my own sites and the first thing I see is it's like a counterproductive thing. It kind of scares people away. So make it easy to sign up, but don't force it on them.
Exactly.
But make sure that you actually put it in there on your site so that you make it attractive to sign up.
Exactly. And you can have it in the footer, you can have it in the header, you can have some small intent in the bar that you can open and close or something like that. So you make it super easy. And then also, for example, let's say you're in e-commerce, you see some people looking at some product, and then there's a perfect thing because this person is interested in this product. Let's tell them, oh, you're looking at this. This could be more interesting if you also get some emails about it. So stuff like that. Make it personal.
Thank you.
You're
Very
welcome.
good tip. Tip number 2 is focus on relevant content.
Exactly. And I think we hit that a lot during the session. That so make sure that you write stuff that the recipient really wants to read about. Don't send the stuff that you want to talk about. Or if you want to talk about it, make sure that you talk about it in a way that's interesting for the recipient. For example, again, the single household or the family household, you can talk to them in a different tone of voice.
Yeah.
And
I also like the part when you talked about should I have the ultra personal hi Sam in the beginning. It depends on who you're speaking to and who you are sending it as well.
Yeah.
And what relationship you have with them. That's,
exactly.
Don't make it harder than actually that you're communicating with people. It's like people communicating with people.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Thank you. And tip number 3 is enable referrals from emails.
Yeah. So we talked about make it easy on the website for people to sign up. But an overlooked opportunity is you have this, they call it the custom audience on Facebook, for example. Okay, we found these people that doing this, and then they can find here's 200 other people that doing exactly the same. They should like this. But you have that inside your email as well. Because if you send out emails, your 60 persons in your email list is send it out, and then some of them will send it to their friends. Oh, look at this! I got this email, and read about this. It's super interesting. And if then in that email you also add a big button that said, hey, did you get this from a friend? Click here to sign up. So your email is referring other email subscribers. That's a huge missed opportunity for a lot of customers or companies, but it's so easy to do it. Add it somewhere. Oh, by the way, did you get this from a friend? Click here to sign up. Bam. That's the way to grow your
That's
list.
like the smartest tip ever, because I can imagine people always oversee that they think they send the email and it's like in a one place thing, and they forget that it actually might be sent to other people as well. And how are they going to, and then if they've hidden like a link in the bottom, the bottom, make it easy.
Exactly.
Make it easy, make it obvious, but never force it on them. One tip on that, I'll actually add a tip for myself here, that, hard lessons learned the bad way also is, always make sure to include yourself on the send list so you see what you're sending other people.
Yes.
Because especially in the beginning, I'm talking about, the beginner companies, when they send out emails, if there's typos and wrong information or something like that, make sure to put yourself on the send list so you see what you are sending out to other people. It's like a super easy tip of just, quality assurance in the beginning as you're starting up your thing.
Yeah, super important. And also, I don't know how much time we have, but another bonus tip is that also the best thing with email is that if you do anything wrong, nobody died. It's okay. Sometimes we have customer call, oh shit, we sent the wrong subject line. What happened? And then, oh, this is perfect. You're human. Everybody's human. They can add this to send a new email to the whole customer and say, hey, we messed up. Happens to everybody. Look at this. This was the wrong subject line. Here's the correct subject line. And that usually gets some more engagement going. So
I will agree with you, because the times I've received an email, which is, the kind of normal, more or less impersonal thing, and there's something wrong with it. And then I get an email like 5 minutes later from an actual person saying, hey, this is John from wherever. I'm really sorry, but we messed up with the headline. This is a real one. It's like, it feels more real.
Yeah.
Don't make it into a habit, though. Don't.
No, exactly.
It's not a strategy. No. But as you say, it's a reasonably safe, good way to reach people. But don't forget that it's a communication channel, and you're using it to communicate with people. You're not using it to force things onto people or push things onto people. You need their consent. You need to make it relevant.
Exactly.
And you want to start a dialogue.
Exactly. And that's actually one small thing in regards to deliverability. Some email filters filter out senders that has no reply at company.
So if you have the no reply address, then they
say, okay, because it's like you said, this is communication. If you send information to your customer base, you should also be prepared of them contacting you.
Yeah, but they should just be able to hit the reply on what they got.
Exactly.
Sam, thank you. Look, 14:59. We're on the nose here.
First time in my life.
I'm so happy that you came here, and thank you so much for giving me half an hour of your very busy life. I'll put this on again for everybody to see. It's Sam Jahanfar of Rule Communications. Go to rule.se or rule.io.
And actually, yes, one thing. We put out, because of this, we started talking because of this Innovation Fika. We also put the blog post with some of these tips. So rule.se/blog or rule.io.blog, and you have a blog post regardless for engaged
subscribers. That's awesome. Go there. You can see the tips again. And this will be recorded and forever on YouTube. Sam, thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Thank you for asking the questions. I'll see you next week, 2:30 p.m. Wednesday afternoon, Innovation Fika. Thanks and goodbye. Have a great day, everyone.
Bye.